Nah, I actually don't like RP. Can't stand it.
Same. Don't know why I started this fucking server. It sucks. I hate it.
It's lovely to hear y'all voices again after 1 week of slumber. Ah, it's good to be back.
Oh my god. All the new weapons too. Can't even keep up with this shit.
Oh, there's some really cool looking new daggers as well.
I know, the ones that look like rings, like, yeah. Oh
Yeah.
god. They look awesome. We're gonna have so much fun with all this new content. Holy shit.
Are we really though?
Yeah. No, I'm going to have so much fun. Well, yeah, because you guys, that'll be loot. The players will obtain it.
Yeah.
Everyone will have fun. I'll enjoy killing you guys with it somehow. You guys will enjoy using it after I do that. It's win-win.
It's evolving, but it's backwards.
Throwing chakram. What is... Okay, this has got to be one of the... Okay. Oh! Oh, that's sick. Okay. That's fucking awesome.
Oh, they've added new katanas as well, which
I can
makes
see
me
those.
happy.
Yeah.
'Cause, I am partial to a little bow every now and then,
Sure.
much to Athena's annoyance at times.
Sorry, Mom.
What can I say? It's broken and I abuse it.
There's a little... well...
Oh, my first experience. I keep jumping in the ceiling floor. Nice. Got a
Yeah,
relog.
there have been some problems with that. I've been like rubber banding around every once in a while, like I look for a sound, but it's only in places with great lag that I find it to be a problem.
Hmm? Yes, are you ready? Alrighty. May I take these jugs, or are you leaving them on the ground? Thank you. I find my home to be quite bare at the minute. Always as if in need of an artisan to help provide decorations. What is your price? Decorations to decorate my home. Things that make the place look nicer. You don't seem to be a very good artisan if you're not quite sure what a decoration is, if you know what I'm saying. No, you just make. So, what use is this green dragon statuette? And what purpose does it now serve? I would, but you seem to have written them in some foreign language. I see. How much would a simple table and a couple of chairs cost? Would you take 7 gold and some dye? I have happened to find. It is orange. I think now, before you forget, I have a feeling your memory is not quite what it used to be in a time long ago. No, neither do I. I must be getting somewhat confused. I think it was someone else. Well, I've left payment on your bench.
Yo, the game is bright as hell.
Wait until there's a sandstorm and you're stood in the middle of the desert. Everything is white.
Yeah, they really fucked that up.
I mean, Eve's hair is like full white, you know? Gotta pick my words wisely.
Her hair is so Caucasian.
And I don't even have hair.
It's glorious. We roleplayed, I couldn't stop looking at your enlarged nipples.
They're not enlarged, they're just on display.
That makes them look enlarged. Draw more attention to them.
I need to learn the cross arms mode so I can cover up.
So you can puff out your chest even more, squish them together and make them look bigger, eh? Where are your push-up bra?
I'm a man of the cloth. Refrain from speaking of such evil. Hilden. The last of our horse right past. A white-haired woman on a white horse.
Oh.
I suppose. How's that table and chairs coming along? Oh, splendid. Thank you. Now, are you ready to travel on? Would you mind if we swung by my place on the way, just so I can deposit this unnecessary weight? I don't want to carry this table all the way north. Okay. Is your mutt going to be okay left out here? Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you were bringing your apprentice. That, I'm not sure. Is that not Aranhacir? Or let me be sneaky and quickly check. Turn on name.
Dalitha. My queen.
I see. Yeah, it gets really bright in the sandstorm. Oh my god.
It does. Bruh, you better not be playing this at night. You're gonna light up your whole goddamn house.
Yeah,
Fucking
and
wild.
and I mean it was meant to be the opposite, you know. I mean, can't see shit in a sandstorm. Not well, you can see shit this way, but not this way, you know. It was supposed to be like darker, but yeah, I don't know.
Weird.
Just in front of Galaman's tomb.
Nice.
Hello there, Arbanus.
Oh, forgive me, I didn't hear you right up. How was your journey?
Um, it was okay. Is the fellow here with you?
Yes, his name is Champion. He was a Cenarian before he was repurposed to my use by the Warriors Guild. He has taken to calling himself that to let his actions speak louder than his words, and his new life, whatever that means to him. He doesn't talk much, though, as a result.
Oh, I see. So
He's a
there's...
friend. A
I
new
see.
one, though.
So there's no problem in talking to you by your real name, right? Well, great to hear. I received your note.
Yeah,
It
I
left
was,
me wondering, but yeah, I'm here.
I was wondering how you had been doing, what your memory state was, what you remembered. Last time we talked, you weren't, well, a lot happened.
What actually happened? The last thing that I remembered is both of us training back at Pryor's Arena, and then the next thing, I was sleeping at home.
So the last you remember is the sparring, then?
Yeah, there was this vision that I had, but it came to me, I believe, as I was writing down the memories on my journal. And yeah, after there's nothing after the sparring, just a few scribbled names.
And what names would those be?
I heard a couple of names in this last vision, but I unfortunately was able only to write down one of them, and that would be Talitha.
Indeed. That is interesting, to say the least. What do you know of this name?
I have no idea. From what I've recalled, people in the vision were referring to me as Talitha, but I am not Talitha, I'm Eve.
What were they saying to you? Do you remember?
Barely. I believe we were practicing. Yeah, the two voices talking with me were male voices, and there was something about arrows, but that's yeah, that's all I remember. Although this was the clearest vision I've had this far. As soon as I woke up, the memories started to fade away, and well, the name, yeah, that one name was everything that I could write down.
You know, when I first was exiled, I've already told you I lived in a village near here. I was a younger man then, perhaps not in body but in mind. When I was raised a staunch matron. I was taught how to live a life of virtue and morals, as we must, by our God. And yet, in my city, harrowed and harassed by a sect of Sedites who would take to the streets at night, hide their identity by day, wearing serpent-faced masks, using the venom of the snakes. It was a troublesome time in my home, and so when I grew to be of age, I became a guardsman, like a good friend of mine, and dedicated myself to trying to make my city a better place. Over the years, though, the city politic still corrupted by the influence, rich or powerful, of some of the very most prominent Setites that lived there, and my actions against them eventually earned me the honor of being discharged from my guard and my people, and also exiled here. I believe that has been roughly 5 or 6 years since, but it feels like an eternity. When I first arrived at this village, I met a woman who was a good friend of mine, a couple actually, and made a life for myself, and in large part my issues with the Setites moved past me. But then there was one day I ran into a woman in this very village who praised the glories of the saint gods. You see, she had been raised in a place very different than I had been. The same ways that she was taught the glories of Set or his deeds, I had been taught the same types of things about Mitra. And I was very hostile to this woman, up until the point where, when the conflict between our village and the Lemurians, as I've told you about, was escalated, she came down to the village, bow in hand, looking to help us out of the goodness of her heart, and via her own actions dispelled some of the presumptions I had made about the Setites that I had known in a former life. You see, when we were training yesterday, you had favored the bow. You had mentioned to me before that you recognized, at least in some form, the name of Dardic, the Lemurian king into the east, a great enemy of mine. And you said that you recognized this place, sentinels, and the surrounding areas. All of these things meaning that you likely, at some point in time in your life, had some connection to this place and to the events that happened to the town where I lived. And I knew this from the time when you first mentioned that you recognized these statues, but I didn't exactly know, I couldn't recognize who you were then. And so I wasn't sure what to do about it, but over time the clues have piled up. You say that the last thing that you remember from when we last met was sparring. Do you remember the bow that I traded you when we were done?
So as I was looking at my belongings, I was carrying two bows, so you gave me the second one.
I did. You see, after we were done shooting, after we were done with our exercise, where you were doing the shooting and I was doing the getting shot, I unveiled to you a bow that I had stumbled across, commenting about how I had never been much of a good shot myself, and you offered to buy it off of me. I believe it was a sum of gold coins, I forget how much, 100 or something like that. We completed the transaction, and that's how you got the second bow. It was, I remember the deal now. It was 100 gold coins, and you agreed to travel with me to a place that I had discovered and hadn't yet been able to explore. Do you remember that? Does that ring a bell?
No, I have no idea.
Well, see, where we went to go, because you did agree, we also ran into the Nordheimer Thorgren in the tavern as we were discussing it, was to this tavern basement in Steppermuru to the west. There's a chasm in the wall there that leads down into this strange ancient city beneath Steppermuru. It is infested with relic hunters. That's when you shared with us that you thought that you likely had been with the relic hunters. I don't believe that you remember that, but something about it stripped some of your memory. We delved rather deep inside, leapt a cliff here and there, slew some relic hunters that were looking for scavenged goods, and annihilated some undead skeletons and the like, until we faced one so strong that we had to turn back. But as we were, after we got them out of our sight, at the very least, we came across a blue torch, and you stared into it for a moment, and collapsed, as you tend to. Does none of this seem familiar to you?
No, it would explain how I ended up back at my place, but yeah, I have no idea what happened in between.
Well, Thorgren, being the broader man than I, put you onto his shoulder, and as I drew the attention of the relic hunters, who were buzzing quite angrily at us as if we were a foreign object in their hive, we were able to get you out of the tavern's basement at least. But before we went in, we stopped in to have a bit of amusement with the entertainers, the dancers, in the tavern itself, and we were asked a few questions by the barkeep there. He wanted to know our names and what our business was. Naturally, I used my fake name. I didn't know if they would know who I was. For them, and you went by Eve, as is who you know yourself by. And he didn't seem to have any qualms, yet when we emerged from the tavern's basement, the wine cellar, we were surrounded by Sedites and guards that had apparently been alerted to our presence and had some sort of agenda against us. Not only that, they actually managed to call you by a different name, as if they had known who you were.
And what name was it?
It was the same name that I knew you by when you lived near the village here 5 years ago, Talitha.
It can't be. Can't you see? I'm Eve.
You are. You're not the Talitha that I once knew, but as soon as I heard them say it, however they knew you, however they recognized you, the tavern keep must have known you from whatever interactions you've had with him in your past life. And now I see the uncanny resemblance before my own eyes. You see, your skin and your hair is a different shade, but your face is much the same as it was when I first saw you, back when you were the Sedite that I mentioned before, the woman who came to save our village with her bow. You asked me before we parted for supper when we were in the tavern where I was from, and I told you Shem, as I had before, and you asked me what a Shemite looked like. And that was when I began to suspect a little bit more about what was clinging so close to you. You see, while Talitha and I have many differences, our main shared experience was that of Shem. You are a Shemite, same as I. That's why you were so curious.
to be curious is the same as being a Shemite. Isn't that a stretch? I think you're getting.
If I didn't have all of the other evidence piled up as well.
No,
You
it's.
see, there were a lot of things that were a bit of a stretch. Remember this place? You had fondness of bows. You remembered Darvik's name. There were plenty of things that, if they were isolated from one another, would have, and did, lead me not to jump to conclusions. Yet, those men called you Talitha, and when they did, that was when I recognized your face, the same woman that I once knew. And you yourself has been writing the name in your book, which means that though you were unconscious at the time, you probably, at least somehow mentally, heard or it's stuck in your psyche to the point where you dreamt and remembered the name yourself. All of these coincidences piled up. You have to know that though this is probably sudden and shocking, you are getting closer to the truth than you ever have before.
Yeah, so I passed most of the rows here. She starts shaking as if she's in a highly emotional state, and then she gets closer to look to you and says, "Canon, is that you? Perkinius told me to go after you and see if your jaw." And then she begins to cry.
Okay.
Now what you do?
Cannon puts his arms around her and hugs her comfortingly, trying to lighten the weight of the revelations.
All right, and now, a grave voice. No, it's all right. It's all right. A grave voice begins to yell, "No, no!" And as it keeps doing, she keeps attacking. So.
Talitha, what are you doing?
I said I am not Talitha.
It's plain to see that you are Talitha, but I do not know who speaks.
Out of ammo? Yeah, if you reach 50% of my health, I'll play the knocked out part.
There we go.
Alright, knocked it down.
Jeez. Something must have happened to her in those 5 years that made her this way. Something still has a hold over her.
If you want to do a dice roll there, I can help you with a way out of this, you know. It's a remembrance roll. If you pass, I can give you a hint.
Okay. What kind of roll do you want? 10?
Yep. Just a regular one.
Oh, we actually got some decent rolls out of you today.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah, so you play it how you want to play it. There's no hint.
Yeah. So, what I know was that the last time I saw Talitha 5 years ago, I'm going to bind her wrists behind her back as she lays here. really quick to make sure that she doesn't try anything crazy.
Okay.
She snaps. What I remember is, yes, Achilles had released me from his care shortly before the village was called. Talitha was still heavily wounded last I saw her, and until we were in Septemuru, I had thought that she could perhaps have even been dead. But clearly, she had been sent to come looking for me, and knowing that I had found my way, well, knowing the connection that Eve has mentioned with the relic hunters, she likely got caught up with them somehow. Something led her to this point, but that is all that I can know. The relic hunters have to be the missing piece in all of this. Now what to do with her? She's a threat to herself and to others right now, until we can figure out exactly what's going on. I do not want to lock her up like a prisoner. No way she's an old friend. But to return her to bed rest could enable her simply to attack others again. At this point, I would likely have to restrain her somewhere, so that she doesn't go off the rails with whatever's influencing her to try to attack people again. That's likely what Cannon would do. Try to figure out some answers. Not interrogate her, but try to do something.
Oh, so you're telling me this out of character?
Yeah, I am. That's kind of what I'm thinking I would do. Would be to take her, maybe to the arena or something.
Okay.
One of the rooms there. Do you want to finish the roleplay of her waking up so that you can roleplay with other people, or because I don't want to just keep you there for like a few days, but I also need to play it and play it.
I mean, I can go there right now, and this is the segue for you to contact Fei Wong, because she knows something that you don't know, because you weren't there. So if you ever mention, oh, there is this crazed woman and she's acting like this and that, and then I'll be around, I'll try to play Mick until then, and if I ever hear you too, I can remember her what happened during the interaction, without a role, because you could put 2 and 2 together if I gave you a hint. You pretty much said what I was expecting you to remember, but you didn't think an action with the information, but since it was a net 1, I mean, I can't help.
No. I don't exactly know what help Faye will do now, though, like out of character, because pretty much everything that was in the letter was the same kind of stuff that Cannon just said to her, reminding her who she was. There's no connection there.
Yeah, but before going to the mounds, Tristan, Faye, Itaru, and it was Tristan, Faye, Itaru, and Mikita. They went to the priestess first, to Muriela, and Muriela said, "Oh, the last daughter of Swaggy is coming again, she has awakened, and bring her to me. Don't let the Sedite take her first, bring her to me, because the way to get the 2 personalities in sync with each other is to have the intervention of one of the priests, either the Mitran or the Setite, you know? So Faye was there when the priestess said this, so that she could tell like, oh, what if we take her to the priest, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
Because otherwise it's... What? Sorry?
Alright, so I'll take Talitha back. We'll put her in the arena for now, tied up and sleeping. And I'll go to the tavern or about the village and try to figure out if anybody would know or have heard of someone named Talitha, or anything she's done over the past 5 years to try to make a connection. And
Okay.
At that point, I can run into Faye, or I can run into Nikita, whoever is there, and try to formulate a battle plan with her.
Yeah.
And that'll pretty much do it.
Yeah, you can do it with Mikita. The thing is, you won't be able to ask him for help because I can't play both at the same time. But it's it's either Mick or Faye who can help. Because otherwise, it's like Talitha is going to come back for brief moments, like the moment she said Perkinia sent me to see if you were recovering, it was really Talitha, you know. But Eve still wants to exist, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So she'll snap back out of it like in no time.
Right. Okay. Theoretically, then, if another character had figured it out, they could have taken you to set the murder into a Deadite instead and have gone the exact opposite direction. Okay. That's interesting. The personality, the two gods, that connection. Right. Okay.
Yeah, pretty
Well,
much.
How much longer until Faye gets off work?
I believe just a couple minutes now. It'll be enough time for me to figure some things out here in real life, and then I can log back as Mikita, get some things done with him, and then I can return to Talitha.
Alright, cool. Sounds good. Let's get you back on your horse.
Oh yeah, so you're going to put me on my horse, right?
Yeah, I'm not gonna leave the horse here. I'll bring the horse back to your house.
Alrighty.
Yeah, theoretically, I would have thrown you on your horse and grabbed it by the reins and I'll just lead it back to the village.
Yeah, it's...
The thrall is on attack nothing, so you don't have to worry about hitting her.
Yeah, and about the throw attacking, I was like, yo, it's all game, you know, if he sends
He
me...
might have one-shot you.
Yeah, if he sends me... But I mean, if he sent me to... Nah, but I don't have a bedroll anymore. Yeah, he would send me to the desert, you know, and it's all game.
Yeah.
And
easy chungus.
yeah, I was glad that you actually invited me to a neutral zone, because if you try to do this RP back at her house, when she snapped into Eve again, you would be surrounded, you know. So it was nice that... Yeah. Oh, and there's more layers to it, you know, just a out of character note here, but the voice that's kept saying no, no, no was the same voice that mocked you when both Thorgrim and you left the wine cellar without defeating all the bosses, you know. So it's her mind is a confusing place right now.
Yeah, she is fragmented. So do you have the dialogue ready to go if we do the mirror part tonight?
I can do it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be just a few questions and dice rolls and stuff like that, but it's a meaningful way to establish that she'll be a little more sane afterwards. And it could go it could go three ways. She could go to a Mitran priest, which is the good ending, the Serite priest, which is the bad ending, and the Derketo priest, if Tristan was still here, you know. So
Yeah.
when Tristan was revealed to be the traitor, it narrowed the possibilities. And since Kara is a Serite and a Shemite as well, if she ever reached Talitha first, she could take Talitha, you know, to the Serite priest and have her coming to terms with herself this way. But yeah, I mean, it's up for grabs.
Yep, pretty much. Pretty much. This update is so sick. I'm in love with all the new items. I can't wait to start like leading in places like having players like get something and just be super psyched about having a unique item. It's gonna be so cool.
Yeah, that's why I need to get things going again with Mikita, because yeah, it was hard to take the loss of everything because a fucking meteor fell into my
that's
head.
fucking incredible. That's so funny. I can't believe that. That's awesome. A meteor, dude.
Yeah, I have to clip that, otherwise people wouldn't believe. But yeah, it was hilarious, but still, the amount of work I lost out of nowhere is something, yeah, hard to cope.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's bad. The crazy thing that happened to me with Falling Star Metal one time was actually like the exact opposite of what happened to you. It was on EC, and I was playing X-Games, and I was up north getting Star Metal, actually. Actually, I didn't know about Star Metal yet in the character. That's how I figured it out. But I was just up north doing Nordheimer things, and I got attacked by a Sabretooth. And as I was getting my ass kind of handed to me, a meteor came down and hit right in front of me where the Sabretooth was and killed it. It kind of saved my life. So it did the exact opposite thing it did to you. I think that Star Metal is just the will of the gods. Like, it intervenes, helps the chosen ones, curses the bad guys. You're a bad
Okay, alright. So much animosity out of nowhere.
You're a bad guy.
Okay, I get it.
If you were a good person, it wouldn't have taken out your shit. It would have dropped and it would have had like 8,000 Star Metal in it. That's so funny. And it's worse too because you were up there for a long time trying to get Star Metal. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, the saddening part was, oh, it's Hilden. Do you go back to Tales 1?
Oh, no, he just passed by us. Just waving on the road. Just ignoring me walking around with him and tied up and put on the back of my horse. No big deal.
He's going to have a word with the folks back at the settlement.
He's gonna be very confused. Alright, let's go drop your horse off first.
If I drop it by the tavern, it will go back to the house, you know? It's... I didn't put him on guard there.
Cool.
Yo, Hilden's place is getting fancier by the day.
Oh, it's sick. I love it. Sandstorm. Sandstorm. Alright, champ, get over here, buddy. You're gonna have to watch a prisoner. like a good little Sumerian slave. Throw you in here. Well, there's nothing to put you on to be comfortable. Upstairs used to be priors, now I should take that with me. There's Dex's old chair. No, that's not very comfortable though. Where is Dex's chair? Didn't I move it over here? I think I was being sassy and just moved it. Oh yeah, right here. You can get a chair. You're not tied up to the ankles, just by the wrists. You can theoretically take the seat and move up.
Okay.
These boxes are open. Make sure you have nothing that you can get to free yourself. No, darling. Alright, champ. There you go, buddy. My old buddy, old pal. Nice floaty cape on your buttocks. Alright, have a good night.
See you. But yeah, dude, that's it. Try and find Faye. I believe you're going to log out soon. If you can't find her, try and find Mick, you know. I mean, you could
When do you
always...
think we'll be back online as Mick?
like 30 minutes from now.
Okay.
So,
I can do that. We can do it. We'll go take a nice long shit and then I'll come back.
alright.